Hip-hop was born in the streets. It was a rebellion against poverty, racism, and police violence. It gave a voice to the voiceless, turned pain into poetry, and put a microphone in the hands of those the world tried to ignore. But somewhere between block parties and billboard charts, the genre crossed the line. It stopped just telling the raw, unfiltered stories of the life in the streets and started glamorizing and even championing the drug game. What started as a cautionary tale ballooned into something that looks suspiciously, in my opinion, like a blueprint for a nationwide cartel operation where music, money, and crime became tangled into something far, far bigger than anyone had imagined. Buckle up, here we go. But let's go back in time. Late 1980s, early 1990s, hip-hop erupts from the streets alongside the crack epidemic. Overdose deaths hovered around 9,000 to 10,000 a year. NWA, Public Enemy, Tupac, they weren't just artists making music, they were reporting directly from the front lines. Chuck D called rap Black America's CNN, and even scholars like Christopher Smith, a professor in the School of Communication at the University of South California, praised hip-hop artists for their lyrical prowess. In his article titled Method and Madness, he writes, "Public Enemy made the ghetto visible in order to abolish it. Many of today's rappers make the ghetto visible in order to sell and be sold." It is now 1999 to 2010, mainstream hip-hop meets the Oxycontin wave. Overdose deaths surged to 38,000 per year now. And you can hear it in Lil Wayne's song, I Feel Like Dying, where rug use becomes a metaphor and a confession. He raps, "Only when the rugs are done that I feel like dying." From 2010 to 2020, emo rap and SoundCloud rappers are on the rise. Overdose deaths have now hit 70,000 per year. Whether it's Juice WRLD's Lucid Dreams, Lil Peep's Awful Things, or Mac Miller's Self-Care, all these songs have become anthems about heartbreak, but mostly about addiction. Today, hip-hop leads global streams, and I can already hear people going, but the population has also increased. And that is true. Even though the population has increased by 34% since the 1990s, overdose deaths rose by 900%. The US went from 4 to 31 deaths per 100,000 people. So that's not really proportional, it's actually catastrophic. We're not even looking at all drug-related deaths. These are only overdoses. So what began as street survival stories has morphed into anthems about moving weight and proudly wearing the corner boy identity, all of it framed and justified as noble, as long as the fridge was full and as long as mama had a house to call her own. So hip-hop has seen its fair share of headline-grabbing drug busts. That we know that. But some of them were so massive that they rattled the entire culture. Let's start with none other than the Fetty Wap. Known for his breakout hit Trap Queen, Fetty wasn't just rapping about the game. According to federal agents, he was moving over 100 kilos of cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and crack across Long Island and New Jersey. This is not the kind of weight that you use for recreational use. This is cartel level of supply. Or another rapper named Ralo from Atlanta, whose private jet was caught with 200 kilos of marijuana worth approximately $2 million in the streets. And then there's another rapper named Arab, or Arab, who was once hailed as the king of Philly. His crew was convicted of running an entire drug empire, pushing cocaine, meth, and heroin. He was sentenced to 45 years in prison. Not because of his lyrics, but because of the sheer scale of this operation. Compared to an actual cartel with multi-ton shipment, these are mid-level busts. But let's consider one thing. These are only the ones that got caught. But let's just make one thing clear. Hip-hop doesn't own the monopoly on outlaw musicians. In rock music history, Led Zeppelin's tour manager was once caught with heroin. Aerosmith famously calculated how much they spent on drugs, and they called it the most expensive rehab ever, quote. But here's the difference. rock stars overdosed, crashed cars, and checked into Malibu rehabs. Rappers, on the other hand, face RICO charges and decades-long sentences and federal raids. So let's be real. I'm not trying to say hip-hop caused the overdose crisis, but it definitely amplified it. The vibe, the soundtrack, the look. Rock had heroin chic, and rap gave us painkiller poetry, and the difference is that today's rappers seem quite content with being both the perpetrators and be the casualties of the system. And of course, record labels bankroll the edge, marketing the shit out of this to young suburban teens and cashing in whether the artist was alive, in prison, or dead. Former Sony executives have quietly admitted the streets sell records and we're just smart enough to cash in. Lyor Cohen, longtime music executive and former head of Def Jam, was quoted in a now deleted Breakfast Club video saying, "Hip-hop was a goldmine because it was authentic. The kids wanted the real, grit, struggle, the streets. We just gave them what they asked for." And while fans see tour buses and private jets, others see rolling drug mules. We even had local dealers like the infamous BMF backing rising artists and betting on their success so that they could pay them back later. The system is guaranteed to profit at least twice, from the rise of the successful artist all the way down to your downfall. And all the while, the executives, the hedge funds, the distributors, who quietly turned a blind eye, well, they remain untouched because it's nothing but our good old plausible deniability.
I don't know what's this opioid thing, man.
Well, being a crackhead wasn't cool back then. Being
What?
a crackhead wasn't cool. Now it seems like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and
It's the most
Having
dangerous. It's the
perks
most
and
dangerous
Molly's
thing that's facing our society.
Are you
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
But I'm saying that's hypocritical though. You're saying the
It's
opioid problem's a problem.
opportunistic.
Yeah.
I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
My point is, maybe it's time that we as an audience ask, how do we help break the cycle? If you're an artist, understand your rights, know the deal before you sign it, and surround yourself with people who care more about you than about your streams or the money that you make. Choose music that doesn't turn your pain or someone else's pain into entertainment. And as for us, the audience, let's support independent artists. Let's buy their merch, go to their shows, leave a good review, share their tracks, and maybe, just maybe, let's stop handing trophies to these labels that keep cashing in on trauma and exploitation. Maybe let's just start noticing, questioning, and thinking twice, and really asking ourselves the question, what is it that we're actually dancing to?